Hey guys, Mr. Haynes here. Wanted to talk about and reminisce about some fiscal policy stuff and then see how it is utilized to mix policies. Okay, so the federal government can utilize fiscal policy and the Federal Reserve can utilize monetary policy at the same time. And we need to see how those work in conjunction together. Okay, let's say we have an example to where we're already at full employment. Okay, but we are not wanting to just chill and rest on our laurels and say, hey, we have a great economy. We still want to be increasing investment. So let's say a scenario says that policymakers want to increase investment, but they don't really want high inflation, or they don't want inflation to just jump up too much. Okay, so what would be the policy mix here? Okay, you wouldn't want both to do the same thing. If both were to initiate contractionary policies, then all of a sudden your AD would shift to the left, and then boom, you'd throw yourself in a recession. That's not what they're wanting to do here. You also don't want to have both the federal government and the Federal Reserve initiate expansionary policies, because if you initiate expansionary policies, then boom, you're going to shift AD way over here to the right, could be all the way up here, which would increase your inflation at an exponential amount. Don't want that, okay? Remember, we just want more investment, but we kind of want something to flatten off that inflation. In this scenario, you would want to see monetary policy at an expansionary policy and fiscal policy in a contractionary policy. Okay, if we have an expansionary monetary policy, the Fed is going to increase the money supply, which decreases the interest rates. Decreasing interest rates means banks are going to lend more, means people are going to get more loans, businesses are going to invest more in capital, all that kind of stuff. Okay. Fiscal policy should be contractionary, because if it initiates some contractionary, there's some balancing out here. So we have investment increasing, but the contractionary fiscal policy kind of keeps it capped off to where it doesn't go up too high, to where we have increased levels of investment, but without that super high spike in inflation. And remember, it would be better to increase monetary or use expansionary policy for the monetary side rather than the fiscal policy, because remember the negative aspects of crowding out and stuff with fiscal policy. Okay, if the government starts spending money and all that kind of stuff, then it can also have a drastic impact. Okay, so we would use contractionary for fiscal policy, expansionary for monetary policy in this scenario. Another scenario, let's say we're in a recession. Okay, for example's sake too, if you have any example on the AP exam saying that we're in a recession, don't think it's a little thing, okay? Think it is a big deal. We're in a pretty serious recession, and what can be done by both the Federal Reserve and the federal government in order to help correct it, okay? In this scenario, if you're in a recession, okay, you would want both expansionary policies. Okay, you would want monetary policy. You would want the Fed to increase the money supply to decrease the interest rate, and you would also want the government to decrease taxes and increase spending. Okay, if you had an inflationary thing, an example as well, you would also really want to see both initiating contractionary policies. But for the most part, these are probably going to be the two examples that you see the most. Okay, and if you don't, remember, fiscal policy is, again, taxes and spending. Decreasing taxes and increasing spending is going to be expansionary. Increasing taxes and decreasing spending is going to be contractionary.